Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here and you've never seen my face, hi, hello. My name is Courtney. I am a stay-at-home mom, wife, and aspiring indie author. And you probably hear my dog eating in the background. I apologize. But I thought that I would pop on, introduce myself since it is the new year, and talk a little bit about how I plan. So, in the past years, I tried really hard to keep my planning system simple, just kind of one planner to rule them all. I was a stay-at-home mom back then with a relatively simple, easy, flexible schedule. So adding anything else to like a planning system felt like it was a little bit extra. And even as I started layering things in, like fitness goals, health tracking, YouTube, trying to start a writing career. I really kept trying to squeeze all of those things into one neat little box. Here's the thing, I think that I struggled or at least one of the reasons that I struggled with routines and managing my time wasn't really lack of effort on my part. It was that I was trying to force everything into one system, and that just doesn't work for how my brain functions. Eventually, I started breaking things out, giving each area of my life its own dedicated planner, which in theory sounds amazing, but in reality, it did not really work the way that I thought it would. If you're someone who struggles with ADHD like I do, then you probably understand the struggle with time blindness and object permanence. And if it is not directly in front of me, then it might as well not exist. So a planner I wasn't actively using became instantly irrelevant in what I was trying to do. Before the start of this year, I took a step back and really thought about how I think, plan, and process information. And what I realized was that I need space. I need room to brain dump first and then plan. I need room to get messy before I get structured. And that's really how it works in practically every area of my life. So here we are. Grab a snack, pour your favorite drink, and I'll walk you through how planning in multiple planners actually helps me feel more grounded, more creative, and a lot less overwhelmed. I always start by reviewing my daily pages. If you didn't know, I am a monthly, weekly, and I like to plan out my days on the daily. So I want to go through and make sure that any notes, reminders, anything like that, that I may need to transfer into other places or forward into the next week, because not everything gets done. Things don't always go according to plan. Um, so I want to make sure that I just jot those down so that I can put them where they need to go. And this is one of the things that helps um, my mind stay a little bit uncluttered when I'm not having to carry all of that information around with me, or have a million tabs opened up in my brain, I really have come to lean on my daily pages a lot. Then I go ahead and check my monthly calendar for anything that has been previously scheduled. The upcoming week is fairly light. We don't have anything unexpected. My son has his regular kind of after school activities, and that is about it. I am filming this a little bit early. I'm doing this on a Thursday, so I do want to go ahead and check my goal pages, just to kind of figure out exactly where I am, what things I still may try to accomplish before the end of the week, and I'm going to transfer some of those things on my daily pages so that I can plan to get them done tomorrow. So now that I know the things that I have to do, it's time for me to kind of figure out where I can make time to do the things that I want to do. So I am using the HB90 system by Sarah Cannon as part of my goal setting, and this is the part in her weekly plans where you figure out how many task blocks you actually have available to dedicate towards goal setting or anything else. These are all available as downloads in her Etsy store. So first I go ahead and mark off some of my routines. So in the morning I drive my son to school, and then I pick him up in the afternoon, and then obviously I go to bed. So I cross those time blocks off. On Mondays, I really like to dedicate most of the day to home admin tasks. So the bulk of my cleaning and any sort of errands, I tend to try to schedule our grocery pickups for Monday morning as well. It's just I decided it was easier for me to do on Monday than the weekend, and I'm allowed to do that because it's my schedule. But most of the time we're home, and it's hard to clean like when we're living in the space. So yeah, then I go through the rest of my week and block off some time to just kind of keep up with housekeeping tasks. Then I am blocking off time for my workouts. I really haven't been great about working out in the last couple of months, and so now instead of telling myself that I'm going to do it, I am actively putting it down in my schedule. The next thing that I am blocking off are just kind of routine things. Like after school, we usually come home, I fix dinner, we kind of hang out as a family, that sort of stuff. And now I am going in and blocking time off for my writing. I really am trying to have all of the final edits of my book finished next week. So it is going to be a writing heavy week, as you can see by the amount of time that I'm actually blocking off to get it finished. Next, I'm scheduling time to work on YouTube things, whether it is filming, editing, any sort of tasks related to that. I'm trying to give myself time to do that during the week. And then the green I am using just for like admin stuff related to YouTube, social media, or like book stuff. After I block time off, I go into my writing and content planner. This year I am using the B6 planner from Faded Chronicle, and it comes with some trackers during the week. You get actually 2 weekly views, so this is the weekly overview that comes with trackers. I don't use them, so I just went ahead and whited them out so that I could use that space for something else. And I am using those 4 boxes to write down kind of priorities for each section of my work life, if that's what you want to call it. I'm still kind of experimenting with how I want to use this planner. So week to week it's been a little bit different, but I am looking at my monthly, which is where I track all of the videos I'd like to get filmed and posted. Doesn't always go according to plan, but then I'm just kind of making sure that those highlighters are dry. So I am wanting to use each box for like book tasks. Then I have any like videos, blog posts that I'm working on. One area I'm using for any kind of like social media stuff I'm wanting to get finished. So not sure if it's the best use of space yet, but I'm sure it's like how I use this planner will change throughout the year. Then across the top you have these little blocks that have each day of the week. So that is where I list the like videos and or blog posts that I want to go up. And then the next spread is the timed weekly. So I look at my goal planner and how I've kind of planned out my week, and I transfer some of that information into my B6. I really only transfer the things that concern content or writing. I don't tend to write down like my routine stuff in terms of transporting my kid or any events or appointments. that don't pertain to me, but I need to know. We don't have any this week, but like last week, our dog went to the vet. My husband took her, so it wasn't something that I needed to schedule for myself, but it is something that I wanted to be aware of. So any info like that just kind of stays in my ring planner. Because this week is so writing focused, I do want to make sure that I am writing down like all of the time that I have devoted to that. A lot of times I will just block off the time and leave it kind of open in terms of what I want to do, just so that I have the flexibility to work on things that may be different from how I planned it to be in my head. I am kind of affected by my moods and like if I've scheduled time to write, but I'm not really like in the headspace to do that. Maybe I will shift gears and work on YouTube instead. But this week, I really need to meet my deadlines. And so I don't want to leave a lot of wiggle room in my schedule, kind of like I'm telling my brain, like, hey, I need to get this stuff done. So whatever else is going on, you need to, you need to figure it out. So I think this is where I'm telling you that I will likely do some work on the weekend, but I'm not necessarily blocking out the time for it because I'm not sure how the weekend's going to pan out. I did swap out my weekly inserts. I was using the Flex Weekly from Sterling Ink, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't really enjoying them, and so I swapped out to these Filofax kind of OG week on 2 pages. These are old. I believe they're from 2024. Don't remember what Filofax I bought in 2024, but I have these inserts. So I just went ahead and redated them. You can see it is a very light week, aside from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday when my son has after school activities. Nothing else is really going on. We are going snow tubing on Sunday with his Cub Scout troop. So I am just marking that off with some stickers. I do tend to add more stickers than I did in the last few years. I don't know, they're just making me happy again, so I'm using them. But I do like to make sure that my weekly is functional, so I will put down things that I know are happening and stuff that I need to know before I add any stickers, and that kind of happens as the week goes on. We have library books due on Monday. That is a me kind of task. I have to drop them off, so I just wanted to highlight them so it pops out at me when I am looking at my weekly. Next, I go into my goal pages and set them up for the week. So the way this works is I kind of go bigger to plan out my weeks. I start in my goal planner, kind of figure out what I want to focus on for the week. Then I go down to my B6 because most of the things that are goal related are related to that area of my life, and I plan them out in my B6. And now we go even smaller and get them in my personal ring planner, which is the planner that I am in pretty much all day, every day. And Nourish is kind of my personal section. So these are habits and goals that are related to me. So I want to read for 30 minutes a day. I want to journal every day. I want to work out 3 times this week. And I got an electric guitar for Christmas that I am trying to learn how to play. So I want to spend 30 minutes. Either my husband plays the guitar and he's been giving me lessons, or watching a lesson on YouTube. This area is heart and home, which are goals either related to my family, my house, that sort of stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff that I'm planning on working on this week because I really need to finish writing. So just I have a few things down for that. That I want to declutter. I'm trying to schedule a family dinner with my kids, and I need to throw some more dates out there, that sort of thing. And then creative studio is like writing, YouTube, that kind of stuff. And there's a lot going on this week with that. So that is where most of my focus will be. Flourish I have been using as sort of how can I say that? Just like skills related to my work. Anyway, the next thing that I do is pull out my daily pages. I will block off the time that I am shuttling my child to and from things. And then I am referencing my B6 once again to mark off time. With this week being more specific with those time blocks because there are things that I really, really need to get done. I'm also writing my workouts on my daily pages to remind myself that, hey, these are the days that you have said that you're going to work out. Just go ahead and get it done. things don't always go according to plan. I think we all know that. And I am able to kind of shift if things happen during the week that need my attention. But I have found that the repetition in having things scheduled makes it easier for me to get those things done. I am definitely a person who needs to see things multiple times before it registers in my brain. And then I go ahead and pop those back into my planner. Oh, I was wondering what I was doing. I am adding just a little bit of deco. That's the day that we are going tubing, so I will write that in that box. And so, yeah, throughout the week, and even the days, sometimes I definitely will refer to my weekly. I'm always in my daily pages, and I usually check in with my goals at the end of the night to kind of see where I am. My B6 stays open on my desk so that when I'm in my office, it's there for me to see if I need any more information. I get more specific on those pages, but it's the upcoming week and I don't want to like reveal everything that was happening. Anyway, if you have made it through this video, I appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things. I hope you found some value in this, and I will see you next time.